Hi, good afternoon to all of you. We started to discuss about India and Central Asia, and we discussed about the retrospect part of this relationship, how India and Central Asia has remained to be largely connected with each other right from ancient times, and of late it has become a very important region for India due to several reasons. Clear? But before, this region has become a new great game in global politics because it is not between India only, it is between global powers like United States on the one hand, Russia on the other hand, and even China. Clear? And that is why this, because of this, is known as new great game in global politics. Clear? So we'll understand about this region of Central Asia from global perspective, and then we'll discuss India's concern in Central Asia, largely due to presence of China, and also because India's hunt for energy and trade in Central Asia. Clear? So coming to this region, we'll understand about this region. Clear? First of all, just hello. Clear? So let us start with the region of Central Asia. Clear? So first of all, we'll understand about Central Asia and the strategic importance of Central Asia in global politics. Clear? So first of all, strategic importance of Central Asia in global politics. Very important. Clear? Just to understand. Before this, there were some questions, I think. Yeah. Sir, please discuss the case of civil unrest and protest against the government of Iran associated with the death in police custody of Mahsa Amini, and if there is an impact on India about this issue. See, this issue does not have any impact on Indo-Iran relationship, but I'll let you know. Clear? Mahsa Amini was a 22-year-old girl who died on 16th of September 2022 in police custody. Clear? She was arrested because she was not covering her body according to the standard law that maintains in Iran. Since she was not covering her body, or she was not wearing hijab according to the standard norms of Iran, obviously she was arrested, and in police custody she died. Police claimed that she died because of heart attack, and her eyewitness indicate that she died because of police brutality. And thereafter, when she was buried, when she died, huge civil unrest and protest started against the government of Iran. This was the case of Mahsa Amini in 2022. But obviously, it is concerned more about internal affairs of Iran, and it has remote connectivity with bilateral relationship between India and Iran. Pritam, it's clear. Next question is, sir, is not communist state people more intellectual, more progressive, more creative than like China, Germany, Russia, even Kerala, West Bengal, rather than capitalist state line as Britain? Sir, is not communist state people more intellectual, more progressive, more creative, like China, Germany, Russia, and even Kerala, West Bengal, rather than capitalist state as Britain? Vishwajit, clear? See, I'll let you know, we cannot make a general conclusion or generalized conclusion like this, because obviously you cannot go on drawing such straight lines, because you know that there are exceptions in all the countries. Clear? If you look into communist countries, some of the people can be highly intellectual, some can be mediocre, and some can be below average also. Same applies with the capitalist countries also. Some may be highly intellectual, some may be mediocre, and some may be below average also. So obviously, clear, it's not that we can make a generalized statement that all the people in the communist states are intellectual and all the peoples in the capitalist states may not be as intellectual. But that seems to a very generic conclusion which may not be applied or acceptable. So such generalized conclusion cannot be given. Clear? Okay, so we'll come to this development, clear? So we'll look into it's not general interpretation cannot be done, because obviously it is more generic and you are comparing with large number of countries. Obviously such large spectrum cannot make a generic statement, generalized conclusion. It needs to have, because exceptions are on both the sides. Is it clear, Bishwajit? Clear. So in fact, don't make such biased statement, because while preparing for civil services, you need to have a very balanced approach, clear? And you need not only balance, you need to be objective also, clear? So objectivity plays an important role. Is it fine? Clear. So without hurting the sentiments of anyone, I would say that intellectual people are there in every society, and there are mediocre people and below average people also in all societies. There's no generalized, there cannot be generalized conclusion. Next is Shubham. After so many events in 2015, Iran was imposed restrictions by the US to prevent Iran from becoming a nuclear nation. But how did the Mossad get involved in the assassination of Mohsin Hammarzad? I mean, the problem was with CIA. How did the Mossad came? Clear? See, again, I'll let you know. That is why we had discussed that arc rivalry exists between Israel and Iran in West Asia. And in this, United States always comes into picture. That is why United States imposed sanctions upon Iran, and in this process only Mossad got involved in the assassination of Mohsin Hammarzad. Clear? Why Mossad got associated? Because Mossad is the intelligence organization of Israel that collects all informations about adversary powers, including Iran. So even though on face of it United States was involved, but in reality what was involved was Mossad, and that is why obviously it was the problem with the intelligence agency of United States, that is CIA. Clear? And Mossad overtook the issue, and therefore it led to the assassination of Mohsin Hammarzad. Clear? It's very clear that United States and Israel both are totally against Iran's resurgence and Iran's nuclear weaponization program, because obviously it will be a direct attack first of all on Israel and later on United States. It's clear, Shubham? Okay, fine. Now coming to the important, that is strategic importance of Central Asia in global politics. Clear? First of all, I'll let you know, Central Asian region is considered among global experts as new great game. Clear? So it is known as the new great game in global politics. Clear? Why it is known as new great game? Because the reason is, by this time all major powers, which are the most dominant powers in global politics right now, the major powers are United States, China and Russia, and all the three major powers of global politics are engaged in Central Asia. And apart from this, there are other countries like India and Iran who are also involved in Central Asia. So all the major developed and developing countries directly and indirectly are engaged in Central Asia, and therefore it has become a flashpoint of global politics, and therefore it is known as new great game in global politics as of now. That enhances the strategic importance of Central Asia. Clear? Now what are the major concern and approach of major countries? Clear? United States want to establish control over this region because it is unwilling to leave this space because of historical legacy. Clear? So United States always want to have control over this region of Central Asia in order to show its image of superpower, and in this process United States always shows that Central Asian republics are being lured, or rather they are being misguided by countries like Russia and China. Clear? So obviously, clear, this region has become a region for geopolitics and geoeconomics both, as the saying that the search for strategic space by the United States has resulted into huge focus on Central Asia. Moreover, Russia is unwilling to leave this space because of historical legacy, because all these regions were part of Soviet Union in the era of Cold War, and Russia does not want to let loose this region to fall prey into the hands of United States and other countries like China. Clear? China's attempt to penetrate the economic space in Central Asia just to take more and more natural resources like oil and gas has obviously resulted into huge penetration of China, which is not acceptable to India also. The reason being, India being another energy hungry country want to have fair competition for energy resources in Central Asia. Even Central Asian countries want India to participate in order to have a fair competition before China starts dictating its price on the products of Central Asia. Since all major countries has focused and converged at Central Asian region, it has emerged to be a new great game, and just because of this new great game only, Central Asia has emerged to be highly strategic in global politics. In this context, we need to understand that China, along with Russia, to counter US presence in Central Asia, has established a regional organization known as the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So we'll understand the formation of Shanghai Cooperation Organization in this context only, whereby both China and Russia together wants to counter the presence of United States in Central Asian region. It's clear, first of all, right, about this important, clear? Right. In contemporary time, contemporary time, the Central Asian region, has emerged to be, Central Asian has emerged to be highly strategic, due to geo-economic and geopolitical competition, geopolitical competition, political competition. Clear? Right. The major powers like United States, Russia, China, and even India, wants to have their control over Central Asia, okay, Central Asia, right? The United States looks for strategic space. In Central Asia, to counter both Russia and China. China. Right, next point. Right. The Russians are unwilling. To leave Central Asia, because this region was an integral part. Of Soviet Union during the Cold War era. Like third, China is attempting to penetrate Central Asian region penetrate Central Asian region to have control over oil and gas reserves. Oil and gas reserves. Okay, right. India. India. India is hunting for resources. Hunting for resources for energy security. For energy security in Central Asia. In Central Asia. Okay, right. In this way, Central Asia has emerged to be a new great game, in global politics. New great game in global politics. Clear? Change paragraph. Right. In this context, China promoted a regional organization, in 2001, with members of Central Asia and Russia. With members of Central Asia and Russia. Clear? Right. Originally, this organization known as Shanghai Cooperation Organization. This organization known as Shanghai Cooperation Organization originally comprised of China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Tajikistan. Clear? It was also China plus 5. Plus 5 means Russia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Tajikistan. Clear? Right. In course of time, India and Pakistan has also been included in this organization. Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Clear? Right. The objective of this organization is to maintain mutual trust, promote trade and culture, and to ensure peace, security, and stability, and stability in this region. In this region. Clear? In this region. In this region. Clear? Right. Like the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Shanghai Cooperation Organization has promoted grouping of grouping of grouping of grouping of important countries of Central Asia and South Asia, Central Asia and South Asia, and South Asia, South Asia, to counter the domination of United States and Western powers, to counter the domination of United States and Western powers. Okay, right. The full membership of India in the SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the full membership of India in SCO is considered to be India's launch pad, is considered to be India's launch pad in Central Asia. Launch pad in Central Asia. Launch pad in Central Asia. Central Asia. Clear? Central Asia. Clear? Central Asia. Now we'll look into India's context. From India's context, SEO is very important. Change paragraph. Clear? Right. India's relationship with Central Asian republics. India's relationship with Central Asian republics. Central Asian republics started after the end of Cold War. It started after the end of Cold War with India's North Look policy. With India's North Look policy. India's North Look policy. Clear? Right. The important goals of this policy. The important goals of this policy is to revive, looking towards the north, is to revive relations with the Central Asian countries. Is to revive relations with Central Asian countries on the basis of historical and cultural past. On the basis of historical and cultural past. This is one major goal. Clear? Right. Beside India, because beside India wants to get access. India wants to get access to resources of the Central Asian region. Central Asian region. Clear? Right. Moreover, this policy is to prevent this policy is to prevent the Central Asian region, is to prevent the Central Asian region to slip into, to slip, S-L-I-P, to just walk away, to slip into extremism, just because of tribal people, to slip into extremism, to slip into extremism. Clear? Extremism. Right. Next paragraph. Right. However, India's North look policy. However, India's North policy. India's North look policy has not been very effective. Has not been very effective. Not being very effective. Largely due to Pakistan, and resurgence of Taliban in Afghanistan. Resurgence of Taliban in Afghanistan. Najdan. Clear? Right. Moreover, India's focus was more on Look East policy, Southeast Asia. India's focus was more on Look East policy. Both started together, Look East and North Look policy. More towards Look East policy, whereby India neglected its North look policy. India neglected its North look policy. Okay? Right. Moreover, India perceived the entire region of Central Asia. India perceived the entire region of Central Asia, from security perspective, rather than from economic significance. Economic significance. Clear? Right. Next paragraph. In contemporary times, India realized the importance of Central Asia. And announced, very important, right in capital, announced Connect Central Asia policy. Connect Central Asia policy in 2012. Connect Central Asia policy in 2012. Now just understand, clear? The purpose of Connect Central Asia policy advocated in 2012 by India basically has several components. Clear? First of all, the component is to engage with Central Asia to procure energy resources. Clear? To engage with Central Asia from security perspective, to engage with Central Asia to provide education skills to the people of Central Asia, as well as to ensure cultural interaction. Connect Central Asia policy solver means improving connectivity with Central Asia, integrating with Central Asia economically, and assist in the addition of agriculture and trade. Clear? At the same time, clear, Connect Central Asia policy also means increase political interaction at bilateral level, increase presence of Indian firms in Central Asia, provide medical assistance, and even give technological support. So all major dimensions has been touched so that India is able to play a larger role in Central Asian politics through Connect Central Asia policy highlighted in 2012. Clear? After, just because with these components, India has certain goals to be achieved through CCAP. First of all is stability of Central Asia. Second, to ensure strategic cooperation with Central Asia, economic engagement with Central Asia, regular political engagement with Central Asia, and even cultural engagement as well. So in order to get integrated, all these engagements are the major goals of Connect Central Asia policy. Do right, clear? Right. Connect Central Asia policy. Connect Central Asia policy has several components. Several components. Right, point wise. Number one, improve connectivity with Central Asia. Improve connectivity with Central Asia. Integrate economically in Central Asia. Integrate economically in Central Asia. Clear. Central Asia. Engage with Central Asia. Engage with Central Asia for energy security. Engage with Central Asia. For political security. And to support education and skill development. Clear? Right. This policy has objectives to ensure. Stability of Central Asia. Strategic cooperation with Central Asia. Central Asia. Economic engagement with Central Asia. Clear? Central Asia. Cultural engagement with Central Asia. Clear? Central Asia. Right. Next part. Right. As part of Connect Central Asia policy. Clear? India announced 4C formula. India announced 4C formula in India Central Asia Summit. In India Central Asia Summit in 2022. Okay, right. According to the 4C formula, India wants to enhance. India wants to enhance connectivity. India wants to enhance connectivity. Wants to enhance connectivity, commerce, 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 capacity enhancement, capacity enhancement, and contacts, and contacts, and contacts. Clear? Right. Through this policy, through this policy, through this policy, India wants to hunt for energy resources. India wants to hunt for energy resources, wants to hunt for energy resources, wants to hunt for energy resources in Central Asia, in Central Asia. Okay? Right. From this perspective, this perspective, an ambitious infrastructural project, an ambitious infrastructural project known as an ambitious infrastructural project known as infrastructure project known as international north-south transport corridor. We had discussed also international north-south transport corridor has been promoted since 2002, by India, Iran and Russia. By India, Iran and Russia. India, Iran and Russia. India, Iran, Russia. Clear? Right. This infrastructure project, will reduce the travel time, from India to Russia, almost by 30 days, thereby reducing the transport cost, by 30%. Transport cost by 30%. 30%. Clear? 30%. This completely in compliance with Connect Central Asia policy. Clear? Change paragraph. Right? All such initiatives taken by India is largely appreciated by Central Asian republics, as it has led to a fair competition, as it has led to fair price and competition, for the products of Central Asia, oil and gas, for the products of Central Asia. Clear? Now write the prospect. Clear? Right. Given the importance of Central Asia, given the importance of Central Asia, India has started to focus on this region. India has started to focus on this region, from a strategic perspective, as well as from energy perspective, Clear? Right. Strategically, Central Asian region provides ample scope to India to play a balancing role. Ample scope to India to play a balancing role against China. Clear? Right. From energy perspective, India can rely on huge reserves. India can rely on huge reserves of oil and gas, to meet energy requirement. Clear? Right. Since these issues are highly relevant, since these issues are highly relevant, India's relationship with Central Asia is bound to grow in coming future. Central Asia, very important. Clear? In fact, for understanding, there's a pipeline also we have not discussed, but that is not a very prominent project. Tapi pipeline, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India pipeline. Because above opposition of Pakistan, fundamentalists say that they will not tolerate this pipeline. So work in this pipeline has stopped. That is why we are favoring more iron steel, because this international north-south transport corridor, it bypasses Tapi pipeline. Since it bypasses Pakistan, it is safe from fundamentalists of Pakistan. That is why after abandoning the Tapi pipeline, we are more focusing on international north-south transit corridor, because obviously it bypasses Pakistan and there is no threat from fundamentalists of Pakistan. It's clear? So India and Central Asia. So these were the major regions to be discussed in international relations. So we had discussed all major countries that has direct or indirect impact on India. We had discussed about United States, Russia, Japan. Then we had discussed about Iran, Israel, then Central Asia, then Indo-Pacific region, Indian Ocean region. All these are important countries and regions which have impact upon India. Clear? This is one major dimension of international relations. Another major dimension of international relations is India's interaction and relationship with regional and global organizations. Clear? So now we'll discuss about India's interaction with regional and global organizations relations. And in this context, first of all, we'll start with Asian continent. Within Asian continent, one major regional organization with which India has a direct interaction since a long time, it is known as ASEAN, or Association of Southeast Asian Nations. First of all, we'll discuss about the establishment of this regional body and then the interaction with India. Clear? Now, write separating heading as India and and regional India and regional organizations. India and regional organizations. Clear? India and regional organizations. Clear? So this is the second dimension. Make it clear. There are three major dimensions of international relations: India and major powers, India and regional organizations, and India and neighboring countries. Clear? So we'll now move on to discuss India's relationship with regional organizations. And first of all, we'll discuss about ASEAN. So India and ASEAN. First of all, establishment of this regional organization known as ASEAN. Clear? See, ASEAN, just understand first. Clear? ASEAN is an acronym that stands for Association of Southeast Asian Nations. This regional organization was established among the countries of Southeast Asia in 1967. Clear? It was established among 10 member countries of Southeast Asia with its permanent headquarters at Jakarta, that is Indonesia. This organization was established with three declared objectives. One major objective was to promote political coordination and stability in Southeast Asia. Second was to promote economic cooperation and trade relationship. And third was to promote cultural interactions among the countries of Southeast Asia. This organization was established in 1967. Clear? But at the same time, with respect to India, we need to understand all the 10 member states of ASEAN, they indirectly and directly supported capitalist ideology, and all these countries perceived India to be more inclined towards the communist and socialist ideology. Therefore, in the era of Cold War, perceived ideological differences never prompted any healthy relationship between India on the one hand and ASEAN on the other hand. Clear? Just because healthy relationship was not promoted between India and ASEAN in the era of Cold War, India also never attempted to move towards ASEAN. But as soon as the era of Cold War came to an end with decline and disintegration Soviet Union in 1991, Indian Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao advocated a policy known as India's Look East policy, whereby under Look East policy, India began to look towards it, the eastern side, that is countries corresponding with Southeast Asia. Fortunately, the countries of Southeast Asia also began to look towards India, and that marked the beginning of healthy bilateral relationship between India and ASEAN. But one thing should be noted at the very outset. Clear? India never demanded membership in ASEAN. Clear? That is why India always interacted at bilateral forum. Why India did not demand? ASEAN is a regional organization and its identity is Southeast Asia. But India is not a country of Southeast Asia. India is a country of South Asia. So if India is included in ASEAN, obviously the regional identity of this organization will come to an end, or rather it will get diluted. So India has also never demanded any membership, and ASEAN also has not given membership to India till date, because regional organizations are identified on the basis of the respective regions. So ASEAN stands for Southeast Asia. India, not being a country of Southeast Asia, could not be given a full-fledged membership in ASEAN, and this relation started from 1992 when India was given first of all the status of sector sectoral dialogue partner. Clear? A sectoral dialogue partner, then full dialogue partner, and then India was also given the status of observer status in ASEAN. We'll come to all these developments. Clear? Right, about establishment of ASEAN first of all. Establishment of ASEAN. Right, introduction. First, clear. Right. Right. ASEAN stands for right in capital for Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Association of Southeast Asian Nation. Association of Southeast Asian Nation. Which was established. Southeast Asian nation which was established in 1967. Was established in 1967 in Bangkok, Thailand. In Bangkok. Clear? Right. This regional organization comprises of 10 member states. Of Southeast Asian region. 10 member states of Southeast Asian region. Southeast Asian region with its permanent headquarter at Jakarta, Indonesia. With its permanent headquarter at Jakarta, Indonesia. At Jakarta, Indonesia. Okay. Jakarta, Indonesia. Now look into this member states. Clear? So 10 member states starting from here: Brunei Darussalam, Philippines, Laos, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Cambodia, Thailand and Myanmar. 5 this side and 5 this side. Clear? So 10 member countries. Clear? Right. The member states of ASEAN. Includes Brunei Darussalam. It's known as Darus also. Brunei, B-R-U-N-E-I, Brunei Darussalam. D-A-R-U-S-A-L-A-M or Brunei Darus, D-A-R-U-S, simply. Brunei Darussalam includes Brunei Darussalam. Philippines, P-H-I-L-I-P-P-I-N-S. Philippines. Laos, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Cambodia, Thailand and Myanmar. Clear? Right. This organization was established with 3 declared objectives. Three declared objectives, right? Point wise. Number one, objective number one, right? To promote political cooperation, to promote political cooperation among the member states, to promote political cooperation among the member states, cooperation among the member states, Second, to promote economic and trade relations, to promote economic and trade relations in Southeast Asia, trade relations in Southeast Asia. And third, to promote cultural connectivity, to promote cultural connectivity among the member states, cultural connectivity among the member states, connectivity among the member states, cultural connectivity among the member states. Fine, clear. Change paragraph. Right. In the era of Cold War, bilateral relationship between India and ASEAN, bilateral relationship between India and ASEAN could not be promoted due to ideological differences, Clear? Right. The ASEAN member states supported capitalism and perceived India to be inclined towards socialism, This was the major difference. Clear? Right. However, with the end of Cold War, Indian Prime Minister, with the end of Cold War, Indian Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao advocated look east policy, to emphasize on the eastern side, corresponding with Southeast Asia, Clear? Right. Fortunately, the Southeast Asian countries, the Southeast Asian countries, began to look towards the western side, this time, which marked the beginning of bilateral interaction. Marked the beginning of bilateral interaction. Okay? Right. First of all, India was given the status of sectoral dialogue partner. First of all, India was given the status of sectoral dialogue partner in 1992. Sectoral dialogue partner in 1992. Sectoral partner in 19. See, there are certain terms. Do understand, first of all, sectoral dialogue partner, full dialogue partner, then observer status. What do we all mean? Clear? When we say that any country is given a status of sectoral dialogue partner in any regional organization, it means the representative of that country can participate in the conferences of that organization. Clear? And if required, if asked by the member states, that representative can express its opinion on certain specific sectors, not the whole sector. Clear? And the expressed opinion of that representative can either be accepted or rejected. It is not binding. So obviously the status of sectoral dialogue partner is the representative of that country can express opinion if required on certain specific sectors, and those expressed opinion are not binding in nature. Clear? This is one thing. When the status is upgraded to full dialogue partner, means the representative can have discussion on any topic, any issue of the dialogue, but again, the expressed opinion may not be binding for the member states. When any country is given a status of observer status means the representative of that country can participate in the conference, can observe the proceedings, clear? And even if asked, can express opinion, but again, those opinions may not be binding for the member states. These are three important status to engage any country: sectoral dialogue partner, full dialogue partner, and observer status. Clear? So write about the sectoral partner. Clear? Right. According to this status, Indian delegate could express opinion. On a specific sector. Opinion on specific sectors. Could express opinion on specific sectors. Opinion on specific sectors. Could express opinion on specific sectors, but such opinions are not binding. Such opinions are not binding for the member states. Not binding for the member states. Clear? Right. Next, India was given full dialogue partner status. India was given full dialogue partner status. In 1996. Full dialogue partner status in 1996, whereby Indian representative was allowed to express opinion Indian representative was allowed to express opinion on any issue, on any issue, and such opinions still remain to be such opinions still remain to be advisory, not binding, remain to be advisory. Clear? Advisory. Advisory. Clear? Right. From 2002, from 2002, India-ASEAN bilateral summit was started. India-ASEAN bilateral summit was started. India-ASEAN bilateral summit was started. 2002 summit was started. Which marked annual bilateral discussion, clear? Bilateral discussion. Right, next paragraph, clear? Right, in contemporary times, India and ASEAN, has concluded, a free trade agreement, to promote free movement of goods and services. Now, we'll understand about this. Just understand first. Clear? Under the provisions of free trade agreement, which is decided between the two countries mutually, clear? Under this agreement, certain items of trade or services which are to be freely traded between the two countries can be traded without collecting any custom duty. Clear? Those items to be freely exchanged between the two countries are placed under positive list. At the same time, those items which cannot be traded freely, on which certain custom duties are to be levied, they are placed under the negative list. Clear? And both are decided mutually between the two countries. Clear? Since they are divided mutually between the two countries, obviously, just because of this only, healthy trade starts between the two entities. Clear? Why India and ASEAN concluded free trade agreement? Because they share complementary trade relationship. So unlike the competitive relationship that is there between India and China, we had discussed, there's a complementary relationship between India and ASEAN. What is this major complementary trade? India is the leading producer of software products all across the world, whereas India does not have abundant production of hardware materials. In contrast, clear? If we look into countries of Southeast Asia, they are leading producers of hardwares, but at the same time, they don't have large amount of software product. So obviously, both can meet each other's requirements because they are complementary requirements of each other. India can export software products, and India at the same time can import hardware products from Southeast Asia. Similarly, Southeast Asia can import software products from India and can export hardware products to India. So obviously, it results into complementary relationship, and that is bound to promote trade between the two entities. That is why free trade agreement was decided in 2009, and thereafter healthy trade started between India and ASEAN. Okay? Right. Under the free trade agreement, under the free trade agreement. Under the free trade agreement. Under the free trade agreement. Trade agreement. Two countries or entities mutually decide about goods and services to be traded freely. To be traded freely. To be traded freely. To be traded freely. Traded freely. Clear? Right. These items are placed under the positive list. These items are placed under the positive list. Right. On the other hand, either certain items not to be traded freely. Certain items not to be traded freely are placed under the negative list. On which custom duties could be collected. Clear? Right. Could be clear. Right. This marked the healthy trade component in Indo-ASEAN relationship. Healthy trade component in Indo-ASEAN relationship. Indo-ASEAN relationship. Indo-ASEAN relationship. Clear? Indo-ASEAN relations. Right? In fact, very important. In fact, India and ASEAN shares. Complementary trade relationship. India and ASEAN shares complementary trade relationship. Complementary trade relationship. Whereby India exports software products. And imports hardware equipments. From Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia. Right. On account of this character, trade has emerged to be a major driving force. Of Indo-ASEAN relationship. major driving force of Indo-ASEAN relationship. Clear? Trade is a very important component. Change paragraph. Clear? Right. Another major component of bilateral relationship. Another major component of bilateral relationship is cultural component. Is the cultural component. Right? Very important. Clear? Right. The religions of Hinduism, Buddhism, and even Islam, has reached Southeast Asia, from India. Southeast Asia from India. Clear? Right. Is that clear? Right. A prominent temple in Cambodia. Known as Angkor Wat Temple. Wat Temple is the largest religious monument in the world. Angkor Wat Temple is the largest religious monument in the world. Clear? Right. It was originally constructed as a temple. Originally constructed as a Hindu temple. Devoted to Lord Vishnu. But was gradually transformed into a Buddhist temple, which was largely patronized by Indian rulers. Clear? Right. Another cultural site. Is Borobudur. In Indonesia. Which is the world's largest Buddhist temple. World's largest Buddhist temple, which was also promoted by Indian rulers. Promoted by Indian rulers. So cultural component is another very important component in Indo-ASEAN relationship. Now just understand, in course of time, ASEAN did not restrict itself only to 10 member states. In course of time, ASEAN expanded its wing, and therefore ASEAN also established another organization known as ASEAN Regional Forum. This ASEAN Regional Forum comprises of not 10 countries but 24 countries, which has a bearing on Asia Pacific region. Clear? So all the 24 countries having bearing on Asia Pacific region are the members of ASEAN Regional Forum. Clear? And this comprises of 10 member states of ASEAN, no doubt. Clear? Apart from this, 10 ASEAN dialogue partners also and one ASEAN observer. Clear? So at the same time, 24 member countries of ASEAN Regional Forum. Clear? So it is a very important forum which has been established in order to promote larger consideration of Asia Pacific region, and it has emerged to be the principal forum for security dialogue in Asia. Clear? So obviously it is the principal dialogue forum of Asia, forum of Asian continent. Clear? So ASEAN Regional Forum. We'll look into this ASEAN Regional Forum. ASEAN Regional Forum. ASEAN Regional Forum. Now look into this ASEAN, all the black things, clear? These are ASEAN countries and these are all ASEAN Regional Forum, clear? So it has become a large organization, only excluding one continent of Africa, clear? So it has continents, countries of Asia, Eurasia, then North American region and even one region from South America, excluding African continent. Clear? This is ASEAN Regional Forum, which has been established as a principal dialogue forum in Asian continent that includes countries of North America as well. Clear? Right, next paragraph. Right, next heading as ASEAN Regional Forum. ASEAN Regional Forum. ASEAN Regional Forum. Right, introduction. Right, the ASEAN Regional Forum. The ASEAN Regional Forum is the principal forum. Is the principal forum for security dialogue. The most important thing. Principal forum for security dialogue in Asia. Security dialogue in Asia. Okay, right. It draws together 24 countries. It draws together 24 countries which have a bearing on the security of Asia Pacific region. Security of Asia Pacific region. That parts of Asia which lies in Pacific Ocean. Asia Pacific. We had discussed about Indo-Pacific, Asia Pacific region. Asia Pacific region. Okay, change paragraph. Right. The ASEAN Regional Forum. The ASEAN Regional Forum was established in 1994. Was established in 1994 as a principal forum for security dialogue. As a principal forum for security dialogue. For security dialogue. Clear? For security dialogue. Clear? Security dialogue. Right. The ultimate objective of ASEAN Regional Forum, ARF. The ultimate objective of ASEAN Regional Forum is to contribute towards confidence building measures. Is to contribute towards confidence building measures to ensure peace and security, to ensure peace and security, peace and security. Clear? Change paragraph. Right. Similar to ASEAN Regional Forum. Similar to ASEAN Regional Forum. ASEAN Regional Forum. Another regional organization. Another regional forum. Another regional forum was established in form of the East Asia Summit, in form of the East Asia Summit, in form of the East Asia Summit, 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 form of the East Asia Summit. Look into this. Clear? East Asia Summit. Right. The concept, next sentence, the concept of East Asia Summit. The concept of East Asia Summit was proposed in 1991. Was proposed in 1991. 1991 in Malaysia. In Malaysia. In Malaysia. Clear? In Malaysia. Malaysia. Clear? Right. This regional grouping comprises of 16 member states. 16 comprise of 16 member states. 16 member states. State with objective to hold annual talks, which objectives to hold annual talks to promote trade and security, to promote trade and security. Right? In other words, East Asia Summit is a complementary grouping of ASEAN Regional Forum. ASEAN Regional Forum. ASEAN Regional Forum. All these are very important, especially for your prelims exam as well. Clear? ASEAN Regional Forum. Right. Similar to, next paragraph, similar to these groupings. Similar to these groupings, another grouping which has been established, another grouping which has been established in Southeast Asia, is the Mekong Ganga Corporation. Is the Mekong Ganga Corporation. 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 So look into this, Mekong Ganga Corporation. Mekong Ganga Corporation. Clear? India, Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. All these sets and subsets being formed. Clear? So all these becomes very important. Mekong Ganga Corporation. Clear? Right. The Mekong Ganga Corporation. The Mekong Ganga Corporation. MGC. The Mekong Ganga Corporation was launched in 2000. Was launched in 2000 in Laos. 2000 in Laos. Among 6 Asian nations. Among 6 Asian nations of India. 6 Asian nations of India, Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam. Clear? Right. The major objective of this corporation, is to promote free movement of goods and services, and to create necessary infrastructural facilities for the Mekong Basin area. Mekong Basin area. Clear? This is Mekong River. Clear? Mekong Basin area. Clear? So Mekong River Basin area. Starting from Vietnam, then we have Laos, and then Cambodia. Clear? So Mekong Basin area. The river starts from Vietnam, then Laos, and then Cambodia. So Mekong Basin area. Clear? In this river, in Mekong Basin area. Clear? Right. It is largely accepted by experts. That Mekong Ganga Corporation has played the role of counterbalancing China's influence in Southeast Asia. Clear? Southeast Asia. Clear? Right. From India's perspective, the linkage with the 5 members, from India's perspective, the linkage with the 5 members, of Mekong Ganga Corporation, over land. Mekong Ganga Corporation over land will promote economic development economic development in the northeastern region of India. Economic cooperation in the northeastern region of India. Northeastern region of India. Northeastern region of India. Clear? Region of India. So all these are important for India strategically. So starting with ASEAN, then we have ASEAN Regional Forum, then we have East Asia Summit, then we have Mekong Ganga Cooperation. In all these, India playing important role. Clear? So start with ASEAN, then ASEAN Regional Forum, then East Asia Summit, then Mekong Ganga Cooperation. All these proves to be very important for India in order to maintain play strategic role and as well as to ensure the economic development of northeastern region, which are in close proximity to all these regional groupings. Clear? Sir, is not Asian countries capable to protect its own security? That I have at US, America and European country. Obviously, Vishwajit, clear? All these countries of Southeast Asia cannot protect their own independence and security, especially against Chinese dominance. We had discussed about South China Sea dispute. In South China Sea dispute, China rather affects the territorial integrity of Philippines and Vietnam. It's clear? Obviously, these countries alone cannot check the dominance of China, and that is why to give a larger shape to ASEAN Forum, ASEAN Regional Forum with 24 countries came into being, in which even United States was added just to show deterrent effect on China. Clear? So obviously, all these factors are largely to maintain balance of power in Asian continent, primarily to check the unipolarity headed by China in Asia. This is the reason to include even United States in ASEAN Regional Forum. Clear? Now, associated with this only, I'll let you know. Clear? One another regional organization has come into being, and this regional organization is known as BIMSTEC. That is Bangladesh, India, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Thailand Economic Cooperation. Clear? Now, the name has been changed, known as Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. So, we'll come to BIMSTEC now. Very important. Clear? So, let us discuss about another organization, that is BIMSTEC. Okay. BIMSTEC. Initially, it was BISTEC. M was not there. That is Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, Thailand Economic Cooperation. Later, Myanmar was added, known as Bangladesh, India, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Thailand Economic Cooperation. But when Nepal and Bhutan was added, the acronym was remained same, and this acronym began to indicate Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral, Technical and Economic Cooperation. This is known as BIMSTEC. Clear? So, we'll write about BIMSTEC as well. Clear? First of all, to understand through map also, BIMSTEC. So, BIMSTEC. Look into this country, this map. Yes, BIMSTEC. India is there. So, India, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Thailand and Sri Lanka. Initially, it was BISTEC, that is Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, Thailand Economic Cooperation. Later on, Myanmar was added, it came to be known as BIMSTEC. And when Nepal and Bhutan was added, the acronym was remained same, and it was named as Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. Right, we'll write about BIMSTEC. Clear? Right. BIMSTEC. Right. BIMSTEC was formed in 1997. BIMSTEC was formed in 1997, comprising of Bangladesh, India, Myanmar, Bangladesh, India, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, and Thailand. Sri Lanka and Thailand. Thailand. Clear? Right. The major objective of this grouping, the major objective of this grouping was to promote technical was to promote technical and economic cooperation was to promote technical and economic cooperation between the cooperation among the member states, technical and economic cooperation among the member states, among the member states, among the member states. Clear? Right. In course of time, clear? In course of time, Nepal and Bhutan, Nepal and Bhutan were also given membership. Nepal and Bhutan were also given membership, and 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 the acronym BIMSTEC BIM stood for, acronym BIMSTEC stood for, right, in capital, stood for Bay of Bengal Initiative, Bay of Bengal Initiative for multi-sectoral, Bay of Bengal Initiative for multi-sectoral and technical and economic cooperation BIMSTEC. Clear? Right. The headquarter of this regional organization, is located at Dhaka, Bangladesh. Is located at Dhaka, Bangladesh. Dhaka, Bangladesh. Dhaka, Bangladesh. Clear? Right. Next paragraph. Right. According to experts, BIMSTEC is said to have been encouraged. BIMSTEC is said to have been encouraged by India's look-east policy, and Thailand's look-west policy. Clear? Right. In fact, BIMSTEC is seen as a vital bridge between ASEAN on the one hand, and SAARC on the other hand. SAARC on the other hand. Clear? Right. In this way, BIMSTEC completes the regional architecture completes the regional architecture of South Asia, regional architecture of South Asia and the Southeast Asia and the Southeast Asia and the Southeast Asia. BIMSTEC, largely for technical and economic cooperation. With this only we will want to discuss about SAARC, because BIMSTEC is connecting link between ASEAN on the one hand, SAARC on the other hand. Clear? So we'll come to SAARC. Just understand. Clear? SAARC is an acronym that stands for South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. This was established in the era of Cold War only among the countries of South Asia. Clear? It was initially among the countries of South Asia, but later on even Afghanistan was added to SAARC, and therefore SAARC became a major role, or SAARC began to play a major role in South Asian politics. Clear? So now we'll move on to SAARC. Clear? So after BIMSTEC, we have another regional organization known as SAARC. Clear? We'll understand first of all SAARC. Which are the countries? Clear? All South Asian countries, neighboring countries of India. We can take this also. SAARC member countries. SAARC. Clear? All neighboring countries. SAARC comprises of 8 members. Clear? Right here. Clear? Right. Right. By the end of the 20th century, end of the 20th century, an important regional organization was established. Regional organization was established in 1985. Established in 1985, known as the South Asian Association, known as the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. Regional cooperation. Clear? Cooperation. Right. This organization was established at Dhaka in Bangladesh. At Dhaka in Bangladesh, comprising of 7 member states. Comprising of 7 member states like India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and Maldives. Sri Lanka and Maldives. Clear? Maldives. Right. In 2005, Afghanistan was added. As the 8th member of SAARC. 8th member of SAARC. Clear? Right. This regional organization was established. This regional organization was established with its permanent headquarters at Kathmandu. With its permanent headquarters at Kathmandu in Nepal. Permanent headquarters at Kathmandu in Nepal. Kathmandu in Nepal. Nepal. Clear? Right. 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 This regional organization was established to promote political cooperation among the South Asian countries, cooperation among the South Asian countries, cooperation among South Asian countries, South Asian countries. Clear? Right. Beside this organization envisaged to promote trade and commerce, a very important thing in SAARC, trade and commerce in South, trade and commerce among the member states, Okay. Right. Moreover, the objective of SAARC, SAARC is to promote cultural growth and development, in South Asian region. Growth and development in South Asian region. Now, but just understand first of all, clear? First of all, initially when SAARC was established, SAARC could not emerge as an effective organization because the two most important countries of SAARC, India and Pakistan, began to treat SAARC not as multilateral organization but rather as bilateral organization, and they began to discuss the controversial issues in SAARC, meaning that SAARC in real sense became a bilateral organization between India and Pakistan, and other 5 representatives and 6 representatives were just puppets in SAARC summits, and therefore they began to witness only controversial issues between India and Pakistan. So first major problem with SAARC was that SAARC could not play the role of multilateral body. Rather, in real sense, it became a bilateral body in which India and Pakistan decided to discuss their controversial issues. This affected the efficiency and objectives of SAARC altogether. Clear? And at the same time, clear, all these issues that existed affected SAARC. Moreover, another major problem with SAARC was that SAARC member countries were all neighboring countries of India who had emerged independent along with India, more or less with India, and therefore all these countries had a natural apprehension towards India because all these countries had emerged from colonial rule. Therefore, they realized India is the largest country in this region, area-wise and population-wise. India can flex its arms anytime, and these countries can again be colonized. Clear? So obviously sense of natural apprehension prevailed among all these countries, and even when India approached these countries, proposed some genuine measures, these genuine measures were looked with huge amount of suspicion. Just because it was looked by huge amount of suspicion, obviously, clear, healthy relationship could not take place between India and other neighboring countries who were members of SAARC. So two factors that affected the working of SAARC: one was Indo-Pak controversial issues, and second was natural apprehension among all the neighboring countries which are members of SAARC and who had apprehension about India's intention. Things began to change by the end of 20th century, when Indian Prime Minister Indra Kumar Gujral came out with his own concept known as Gujral's Doctrine in 1996. Welcome to Gujral's Doctrine of 1996, given by Indra Kumar Gujral. Clear? So first of all, major issues related to SAARC. Clear? Right. When SAARC was established, in 1885, it could not play an effective role. It could not play an effective role due to two factors. Right, point wise. Number one, two factors. First was clear. Right. India and Pakistan began to discuss their bilateral controversial issues. Bilateral controversial issues, whereby the remaining member states, considered this body as a bilateral forum. Right, bilateral form within inverted comma, as bilateral forum. So no major development took place as bilateral forum. Right, second point, clear? Right, all the member states of SAARC are neighboring countries of India. All the member states of SAARC are neighboring countries of India, and all of them have a natural apprehension. About India. Clear? Right. These smaller countries became independent from colonial rule of 2 centuries. And realized that India is the largest country in South Asia. That can colonize these countries. Because of its sheer size and population. Natural apprehension. It's kind of clear. Right. Consequently, these member states did not trust India. these member states did not trust India. These member states did not trust India. Did not trust India, which affected the deliberations of the SAARC summits. Deliberations of the SAARC summits. So two factors. Clear? Change paragraph, right? However, things began to change. Things began to change when Indian Prime Minister Indra Kumar Gujral, when Indian Prime Minister Indra Kumar Gujral gave Gujral's doctrine with respect to neighboring countries. Gujral doctrine with respect to the neighboring countries. With respect to the neighboring countries. With respect to the neighboring countries. Now, we'll come to Gujral's doctrine and how it affected or influenced the SAARC deliberations also later on, and what was the major role of SAARC in course of time, and how far SAARC is very important for India even in contemporary times. We'll come to all these developments. Clear? Now, coming to next question. Sir, is there in your organization present NATO? No military organization as of now exists in Asian continent. Next is, sir, when will be the relation between Indian and African countries done? We'll discuss India and African continent. Remind me in the last, I'll discuss India and African continent as whole. Clear? And within that, we'll discuss some important countries. Clear? As per the plan before the regional organization, the India-Africa and India-Europe relations classes are mentioned. Clear? So, obviously, we'll be doing India-Africa also. Okay. Since we have started organization, let us complete with this. In the last, do remind me, we'll be doing India-Africa, we'll do India-Europe. Anyway, European Union has to be done. Within that European Union, we had discussed United Kingdom would be done. So, okay. So, let us, since we have started organization, let us complete with organization, regional and global organization. Once we complete that, obviously, every topic will be done. Nothing would be missed out. Clear? We'll be doing India-Africa, we'll be doing India-Europe and European Union. It's clear? We'll be doing these regions as well. It's clear? So, we'll continue. We'll continue tomorrow from here. We'll start with Gujral's doctrine. We'll complete first of all regional and global organization, and then we'll take Africa and Europe. It's clear? Thank you and all the best.